Welcome everybody to another video today. I'm basically recording this video to kind of address some of the most controversial parts of my channel, actually. Usually my videos do pretty decent. I mean, you always kind of have people disliking your videos, and you always kind of get some good criticism and good feedback from people who either watch your content, give you some sort of feedback based on what they think of your content, or sometimes you might just share an opinion that people just don't agree with, which is just kind of the nature of posting opinions online. You're going to post things that people are going to not agree with, and ultimately that's perfectly fine by me. But I wanted to go ahead and make a video because my most controversial video to date just happened about a number of days ago. I actually posted a video called "The Most Boring Perk in the Game," in which I made a video pretty much discussing the perk distortion and my thoughts surrounding it. It was a pretty much gameplay centric video that I found to be pretty much entertaining. But I did share a sentiment in the beginning of the video that people didn't really like, and my overall sentiment that people didn't like, you might ask, it's going to be about me calling the distortion boring. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of watch the beginning segment here with you guys just to kind of see if I said anything that might have come off wrong. I know in my personal life sometimes I have a tone when I communicate with people, so I mean sometimes I might not be aware if I'm using a tone in my own content. I got that feedback before in the past where people thought I was serious about maybe referring to something or some gameplay thing to be toxic or whatever that might be. But I try my best to be self-aware about a tone that might be communicating across my channel. So let's go ahead and watch this beginning part. And then we got a bunch of comments that we're going to respond to in terms of people actually defending the use of distortion, which is, by the way, a valid opinion. The same way that my opinion is also valid, but we're going to go through and kind of watch this and go over some of the comments just so we can clarify the air. Because the feedback was pretty phenomenal. I got a lot of actually really good feedback on what people actually think of the perk and thought of my opinion. But that being said, let's go ahead and watch the beginning segment here. Listen, everybody, distortion is probably the most... First off, I can't stand listening to my voice. I feel like a crusty ass sounding voice. I do not want to sound it. Listen to it. So the fact that I have 891 subscribers is pretty fantastic. And the fact that hundreds of people are somehow recently finding out my content, my videos, is also a very awesome thing. So for all the people who have subscribed, thank you. I'm going to be trying to continuously put out content for you guys because I like entertaining, and also I appreciate any support. That's why I make videos. I don't make an ounce of a dollar off of any of this, of course, from YouTube's monetization system, but also I just kind of enjoy content as long as people watch it. That to me is a unique thing to be able to do online. So I'm kind of glad to be born in the moment in time that I do. But that being said, let's actually get into it now. Listen, everybody, distortion is probably the most boring perk in the entire game. Unironically, I cannot believe in Dead by Daylight, where when you play Survivor, the most fun part of the game is interacting with the killer, that there is a moving trend right now where a lot of people are bringing the perk distortion. Okay, so I'm actually going to pause it there because I don't know, maybe because I am terminally online or something, but I have been watching a lot of Dead by Daylight content over the course of the game since it released, and I've been playing a lot of Dead by Daylight since the game has released, and I always feel like, from the survivor's perspective, especially when I play like solo queue, which I know is an anecdotal experience, but throughout the course of my history of the game, after people get used to the game mode and the objectives of the game, people for the most part enjoy having that like one-on-one killer interaction. Playing Survivor has always kind of, it felt like the sentiment is that the people who play Survivor outside of doing generators actually play Survivor for the most part because the killer interaction's fun. Like the variety of killers you get to play against, the different ways you can counter them. People enjoy running around, looping, I mean, doing 360s or any types of, juking technique they can come up with. Throughout the course of the game, I mean, watching content and kind of being a part of the community, it seems to me like a lot of people enjoy the killer interaction of the game the most when they play against the Survivor. So I think my whole point was, well, I was basically calling distortion to be a boring perk, is if people consider the killer interaction to be the fun part, I feel like running a perk where you are purposely trying to avoid having a killer interaction would be boring. Like if you take the fun part and you remove it from your gameplay, even 50% of the time, that to me feels like you're having 50% less fun. So when I say here I call the perk boring, I'm not trying to argue that distortion does not have uses whenever you're playing a game. And I'm not even saying that people who play distortion are necessarily bad in any way, shape, or form. It's a valid perk to use. I'm just making a comment about how the trend of people using distortion is a confusing phenomenon for me, considering that, again, it seems like people are taking the fun part out of the game or making it less, and the fun part being removed even incrementally to me, it's just changing and removing a lot of that fun factor. So continuing. Distortion is a perk that just basically makes it where the killer does not see your aura throughout many different circumstances of the game. And if you can believe it, if the killer cannot see your aura, it means that less chases are bound to happen for the survivor. And if you're playing the survivor and you don't have any interaction with the killer, it is some of the most boring, unfun gameplay that you could possibly have in Dead by Daylight. So it is beyond me that there is a trend right now where people are not wanting to play and interact with the killer, which is the most fun part. The chases are the most fun part. So that being said, we're gonna go ahead and play. Okay, so this is where we get into the gameplay, and pretty much what I said here is pretty much what I just said a second ago. Distortion is removing your ability to be, tracked by the killer, and being able to be tracked less by the killer means you get less killer interactions. And as a survivor, if you like to chase, if you like to loop the killer, if you like to counterplay them, etc., it just turns out to be where, in my mind, less gameplay with the killer means you're going to be probably having less fun. Because at least in my mind, I play a lot more killer now. I have like 3,000 hours in the game. I probably put half of my hours into killer and this latter half into killer, because killer has been a bit more engaging mechanically, and I feel like outside of the killer chases, or the killer chases, whenever I'm playing survivor, I just kind of get bored of playing survivor as a mode of the game. So I mean, I know this is just my personal opinion, but again, like I said, just reiterating here, distortion meaning less killer interaction, which means if people find that to be fun, killer interaction to be fun in the game, the people are having less fun. Yeah, that's what I said. And the rest of this video is pretty much just me playing a gameplay, which I think I had a pretty funny or fun gameplay to watch. And it turns out that people actually did not take my video very positively, which is a bit unfortunate, but it happens. People disagree, and the community for Dead by Daylight is very passionate, so that's fine. If I go over to my video analytics for this video and we see how people engage with it, I have a 54% like to dislike ratio. I'm not going to hide the numbers here. And people have spoken, and people deserve to have been able to speak, So, 20 likes to 17 dislikes, almost a 50-50 split. That's, to me, is wild. I couldn't believe this. When I saw this, I'm like, wow. What did I say that was super controversial, or what did I say that people did not like or disagreed with? And I'm not taking it personally. I mean, the internet is the internet. I don't really care that much, but so instead of me, viewing this as like 20 people liked the video and 20 people must have disliked the video, how I am choosing to interpret it is more constructive. Like, hey, 20 people has probably agreed with me here, and 17 people probably did not agree, right? And I think that's the safest interpretation to have, and the most charitable interpretation to have, because of the way people responded to my video right here. So we're gonna go ahead and race with the comments, and we'll go ahead and respond. By the way, this video had 50, I'm gonna be honest, this video had 50-50 like to dislike ratio. 2 likes, 2 dislikes after the first couple of days, because I only had like 16 views on this video. So it's crazy how much more traction this video is starting to get right now. So we're just gonna read some of the comments here. What are your thoughts on distortion? Somebody agreed with me and said that it was boring. It happens. Also, YouTube doesn't relay all of the comments. So if I'm missing comments here, because you see how it says 2 replies and it's not showing anything, I'm not going to pretend like the comments are not there. I'll still acknowledge them. This person said they actually do get enjoyment knowing that the killer cannot find them. So that's their version of getting some entertainment, which is, like this guy said, fair enough. 9 people like that comment, so that's true. So people do kind of enjoy playing the game, I guess, without the killer interaction, which is a very quiet portion of the community that thinks this way, I think. I mean, I just, being terminally online sometimes, and I say that, though I'm not even online that much, I feel like the sentiment has been universally that people don't. I mean, people do like the killer interaction, but that's what's kind of fun. But there's a lot of people that's there who enjoy not having the killer interactions. I get that, too. I'll accept that. Though, if you don't enjoy killer interactions, I'm not necessarily sure why you're playing a killer versus survivor game. I guess that, like, tension is supposed to be fun, but... It says, this guy is just mad that he didn't get the 4 stack of Grim Embrace. I don't know. I'll be honest. I like this comment. Didn't even know why I like this comment. I was just playing. I guess he's just making a comment about the killer. It's fine. There are 30+ aura reading perks for killers, so distortion is not an issue. Yeah, 6 likes here, so pretty universally agreed upon sentiment. This is where I actually replied. I said, "You're right. I'm not saying it's an issue on the killer side. I'm just saying that I think the interactions with the killer after countless hours of the game is what's fun, and I thought people felt the same way. Because again, I'm under the assumption again, because I do end up repeating myself quite a bit. Killer interaction for survivors was fun. Doing generators gets boring. So I'm not even disagreeing with this. So when this guy says, or this person says, there are 30 plus or reading perks for the killer and distortion is not an issue, I'm not even saying distortion is like a real issue. I don't really have an opinion about distortion in terms of the game balance, if it's super balanced or not. That's what the video is not supposed to be about. It's just me talking about how I personally find it to be boring. And this guy responds being charitable as well. He says he understands my point. He disagrees. But he says he finds it annoying if the killer knows exactly where you are 24/7, giving you no time to breathe, and it can be overwhelming when they have a 3 to 4 aura reading perk set up. I don't think, by the way, that this is really possible. Not possible. I don't think this is happening all the time where people have 3 to 4 aura reading perks. Maybe 2, depending on the build. I think usually it's always equal. It's always like an aura reading perk, a gen slowdown perk, and it's something to kind of increase efficiency for your character power to make your character a bit stronger. But I understand what the point the person's trying to get across, which is, you know, with it becoming increasingly easier to find survivors to initiate chases, assuming that this person finally just wants to take a breather to sit down to an objective, having a killer feel like they're always on top of you can be overwhelming, which I understand that sentiment. But again, just because it has a use, like we're not really arguing here if the perk has a use. I just think it's a boring application of a perk. Like if I'm gonna bring some stuff, I don't know, I want something to kind of match my playstyle, but also allow me to have killer interaction the way it's intended to be. I don't even know what I mean by intended to be. It's just, I don't know. I feel like distortion makes things a little bit more boring, and that's just my take on it. Hey, if it's 3 blood points, I'll take it. I think distortion might reward you a bit of blood points, I think. Or maybe he's referring to the DC, which is fine. And then the next thing is to speak for yourself. I play distortion all the time, and I never have a boring time. That's also fair. You know what? I understand that what I might find to be fun and what other people might find to be fun might be two completely entirely different things. Even if it was true, let's just say for the sake of the argument that people for the most part agree with me that distortion is a boring perk and it's a boring trend, I do recognize that there is a community out there of people who actually enjoy the perk. So but I also want to make it clear too that at no point am I speaking for everybody. I am speaking for myself. The entirety of the way I phrased my introduction here, that was pretty short, was me speaking for myself. Like I'm using phrases like I find it to be boring. I think it's pretty astounding. I'm speaking for myself entirely here. So if I do come across like I'm maybe having a ton with people or being a little bit condescending toward people who like distortion, I'm not trying to become or come off that way. I'm just trying to say that I find it to be boring. And I feel like I am speaking for myself. I replied it the first time and I forgot I already replied to this comment, so I replied the other one. So I'm happy for you that I said I understand and I am speaking for myself. That's why I opened the video raising the question as to why distortion use is trending. My thoughts on it: I have no problems with others playing and whatever style that they desire. And then somebody else says copium, which I have no idea if the copium is like me or whoever, but I don't really know or care that much. But the whole point is, again, 20 likes, 17 dislikes, probably my most controversial video. Just clarifying what I'm basically saying here is, I'm not arguing that the perk is imbalanced. I'm not even arguing that the perk can't be used or there's a problem with it. I just am trying to just give my opinion on what appears to be a trend in recent DBD, which is distortion builds, and I think that play style is a little bit boring, which is what I'm trying to communicate. So, again, I'm hope I'm not coming across like I'm preaching to anybody there. It's just my opinion. One gamer's opinion to another, right? So, I defend that position, and I acknowledge that people are going to disagree with me, and that's fine. That being said, I kind of wanted to clarify what I was saying here, and stuff, and just to kind of address this is my most probably controversial video in a long time. So. That being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys who have all recently subscribed to the channel and been liking my videos. You guys are all phenomenal people, and I really appreciate it. But that being said, I'll see you guys all next time. Peace out.